Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm William from Own This Property.
Today on Ask OTP, we'll be answering questions from first-time home buyers that very little people know of.
Let's go! So the first question we have is, what are the hidden costs when buying a property? So many already know that you have to pay a 25% down payment. However, you also have to factor in other expenses from the transaction. You have buyer stamp duties of about 3% and legal fees of about 2.5 to 3K. Subsequently, you also pay property tax, which depends on whether it is owner-occupied or not, and maintenance fees for private properties, which starts from about $200 per month. Lastly, always factor in potential renovation costs into your decision.
So for the second question we have is, I want to buy an old resale. Okay, what should I look out for? Well, typically for older resale properties, it's very important to look at the condition of the unit. Okay, take note of any signs of defects. Look out for watermarks, which may indicate water leakage. Check the flooring, door frames for termites, air conditioned units, okay, which may need a full overhaul, and many more. In the case of private resale properties, we should also find out if the maintenance fees have been increasing and if the current sinking funds are sufficient. Lastly, the renovation costs of resale properties are often underestimated, so get a professional quote, and you can even request a viewing with your contractor or ID before even putting in an offer for the unit. Okay, so our third question, at MOP, can I keep my HDB and buy a private property without paying ABSD? So most people will think no, but there is actually a way. However, the trick is you have to do this before your purchase completion. Instead of buying under the usual joint ownership scheme, you can buy a BTO or resale HDB under the Owner-Occupier Scheme. Under this scheme, after your unit reaches the MOP of 5 years, the occupier is now free to purchase a private property without incurring ABSD, while the current owner retains the HDB. Personally, before becoming a real estate agent, my agent did not advise me of structuring the purchase in this way. In fact, many agents are not even aware of this, which is why the lack of information back then has impacted me today. So don't let this happen to you too.
So question 4, is it important to buy a high floor unit? And are west sun facing units bad? So I think this decision ultimately depends on your objectives. Are you buying for own stay or this property for investment? Historically, the highest floor units have underperformed lower floor units. One reason is that the price premium you pay at the beginning, for example during a new launch, it is often not recovered in full when you sell the unit in the resale market. So if you are an investor, I would say go for the lower floor units because you get to enjoy higher ROI. But if you're buying for own stay, you definitely do enjoy the better views every day, something that is actually very difficult to put a price on. So now on to the next subject of unit facing. So again, your consideration really depends on your objectives. Poorer facing units are sold cheaper. So for example, a price premium of a pool facing unit can be more than 15%. So if you're an investor, try to go for the poorer facing and also because of that, a cheaper unit. Because the rent will not differ by much and ultimately it will give you a higher ROI. Lastly, if your unit is predominantly west sun facing, it is a common objection of home buyers. So be prepared to take a little longer to sell such a unit in the future. So question 5, how much cash over valuation or COV is there today? So this number actually varies. In today's hot property market, COV has been on the rise. So before putting up an offer, always do your homework first. Firstly, you can look at the average transacted prices of similar sized units within the estate, which will give you a very good gauge on the expected valuation. At Own This Property, we also use a wide range of analytical and valuation tools to derive a proper valuation. Now for HDB cases, you can actually negotiate a lower option fee in order to check the HDB valuation. Thereafter, if the COV is too high for your comfort, you can at least forfeit a smaller amount rather than the usual $1,000. For private properties, talk to different banks because different banks will definitely have different risk assessments. You might find that Bank A is able to value a property higher than Bank B. So thereby, this will allow you to minimize your COV.
With that, we have come to the end of our video. If you are a first-time buyer yourself, hope you learned something from this.
And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Own This Property videos.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm William. See you soon.